Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of the Hippie Life Brand podcast. It's episode number 16. And today I decided I want to talk about toxicity. I want to talk about toxic people, toxic environment, toxic companies, toxic behavior, toxic food. Why? Well, let's say there are so many bad things happening right now, so much negativity, so many fragile and insecure people, and maybe yourself, you're at a point where you really should, take care of yourself and not expose yourself to even more stress and more anxiety, because you just can't cope with it. And I know we all want to heal, we all want to save someone. We have this initiative in ourselves. We have this need to feel that we matter for someone, that we did something good. And at one point, I wonder, is this just ego? Is this your ego talking? Do you want to be recognized as someone who did something great and that you saved somebody else's life? Well, if we talk about toxic people, I'm sure you've met someone, and maybe you only realized months, years, or in your next life or in your different life that these people were toxic and you should have avoided them. But toxic is very difficult to find and to see the sign. Of course they don't carry the t-shirts around saying, I'm toxic, I'm going to destroy you, I'm going to take you down the drain and I will just reduce you to nothing. Of course not. It would be that simple. But they don't. I think when someone tells you that he or she needs you, I would say run away. Turn around. Your mission is not to save people. Your mission is not to be somebody else's crutches, to be somebody else's lifeguard. Because unless you're very disabled, unless you have a really important issue and you don't see the day out and you're so, depressed that you really need someone. And even then, you know what? Unless you're a nurse or a shrink or somebody who's really, capable of a medical and of a human gesture that is going to save that person, but know that it's going to take days, months, years, and maybe the next life. And no matter how much therapy, treatments, counseling session, medication, sometimes we don't get up again. Sometimes our brains and our souls are damaged. And you cannot help us. You cannot help them. And if I say us, I was at the receiving end of asking someone to help me and to take care of me. Or not even asking, but thinking, sure, that person is going to do it because that person said he or she loved me and he or she would take care of me. But you know what? Works a couple of times, maybe a couple of months or years, and at one point you turn around and you're alone. And you're definitely alone. So my advice to you or whoever wants to listen to, if someone says, I need you, look twice. If someone says, I really like you in my life, you're adding so much good stuff in my life, we're good together. And if you agree with that, then I think you're good to go. But if you need to say, I need you, and waiting for the other person to respond, I need you too, or sure, yeah, okay, I love you, it's just not gonna work. But I get it. At points, everybody's toxic for somebody else because you have a different agenda, you have different goals, your journey is different, and the path you want to follow is different. Even sometimes twins don't get along and they have the same genes, right? So it's about normal. But it's really difficult to figure out the time when you say, nope, this is not good. It's not good for me. You don't have to say you're not good for me, even if you think this is the truth. And maybe it is the truth. Let's say you're not just good enough. And then you can say, I need more, or I need something different. I mean, look, we know sugar is toxic. We know smoking is toxic. We know drug is toxic. And we know alcohol is toxic. And what? We still try some of those because it's there, because it's easy. Sometimes it's even cheap. And sometimes it makes you part of the crowd. And we go back to square one. If you knew how much you mean to yourself, if you knew the strengths you have inside, and we all have the strengths, to wake up in the morning and carry on. But still, we let other people take over the control in our lives. So basically, you're giving them the key to your soul, the key to your heart and your mind. And you say, do whatever you want because I need you. I don't want to be responsible for anything. This is it. You're taking away your own responsibility. And of course, after that, you cannot complain, right? That sounds rude, complaining of whoever did a lot of things for you, and then you say, wasn't good. So I would say when you start a new job, a new home, a new life, a new relationship, a new friendship, they say love is blind. Well, take your sunglasses off for a while, or put your reading glasses and look at the fine prints. And look at the fine prints for everyone. I know some of you are shaking their heads and saying, oh, what the hell, now she's going again, completely paranoid, and she doesn't want us to enjoy our life. Of course, I want you to enjoy your life. We really deserve a really happy and peaceful life. But that doesn't mean we just get carried away and, say, hey, I'm not driving. Wait for the Uber, right? No. If you want to have a healthy relationship or a healthy lifestyle, then you perfectly know you need to be in control. Because only you know what's good for you. And you really know if that person is not exactly that, and you know what, maybe you're not good for that person, yourself, and then you're toxic. Do you want to be that toxic person who really messes up somebody else's life? Really? You want to do that? I believe in karma, so watch out for your karma next time. Well, if I look at my last toxic relationship, I guess I wanted to believe that this was going to be the one and lonely, the one amazing love story, the one person I wanted to spend the rest of my life. The love story. We all want to have a big love story. We all want to believe in something great and that this could happen to us. But there were all kinds of signs. When somebody is mirroring you, repeating what you say. When you say, I love you, sure, I love you too. Or if you get me too as the answer to I love you and I really miss you. And me too, you know what? That doesn't cut it. It's not Twitter. Come on, for heaven's sakes. I deserve more than 10 characters, right? But you get carried away because you get text messages, you get voicemails, you get small videos. And somehow, it's like an anesthesia, you start sleeping in and you're bubbly and that wonderful feeling of warm and fuzzy happiness and then still something doesn't feel quite right. But yet you don't want to, take the key back. You don't want to say, get off the driver's seat, I'll drive my own car. Take a cab or walk, better off. And for all those years, I was getting these calls and texts, and they made me feel like I was the queen. I was his queen or her queen. And that person needed and wanted healing. And that person said, I need you. And it was true. That person needed me at that time in his or her life. I picked that person up. I carried him or her on my shoulders for years. And I felt good about myself. I was doing something for someone. And I thought that's okay, because at one point, well, we're going to have a great future together, or a great present. I wasn't even thinking about future. I was wanting a present. But you know what? The present never happened. Because when it was time to shift the tables and to take decisions and make plans, well, there wasn't no one. I was alone. Because I may have been good for the years that person needed healing and support and loving care and affection and you name it. But when it was time to give back, the seat was empty. And it's really hard to pick yourself up again. So the signs were there. That person was toxic. That person was having an agenda, had a goal, wanted to survive. Can you blame that person? You're probably saying, of course not. It's true, maybe not. Some have said, well, you should be happy that you saved someone. Not sure about that one. Because I may have saved someone, but I crushed myself in the doing. So I would like to pass on the information. If someone says to you, I need you, look closer. How much do they really need you? What exactly is the need they're asking for? I mean, you never go into a relationship knowing if it's going to work out, right? It's like it's like a poker play. It's like a Russian roulette. Call it whatever you want. But it's never something that is guaranteed, right? There is no life guaranteed for anybody, for nothing. It's like a job. It looks like a dream job. You get in, you have your honeymoon at the job, and then it sucks. And then it's a holy nightmare. And then you don't want to get in anymore, and you feel sick to your stomach on Sunday night because you know you're going to feel horrible, and you really don't want to go, but do you really have a choice? And again, I want to say, if you're feeling so miserable, so sick to your stomach, your heart is bleeding, your mind is bleeding, you feel like you're being humiliated, you feel like you're being walked on your head and on your toes, then if you can, just get out. Because whatever you're getting paid is not enough. You're worth more than that. I walked out on a couple of jobs because it was too horrendous. And I hated the way I was being treated. Even if you were getting the big bucks, that is not enough. That is definitely not enough. And you feel so much better when you can walk out, you chin up and say, you know what, guys? You're not paying me enough for that shit. Sorry. But you feel good about yourself. Okay, you may feel scared the day after and you feel like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But you know you can do this. What we don't need is toxic people, toxic environment, toxic jobs, toxic communities, neighbors, toxic friends and families. And we all have a couple of them in our, close circles. But let's get picky about this. Life is really difficult those days. We cannot make plans for a long and bright, shiny future. We need to live the moment. Everybody's about mindfulness. Well, mindfulness starts with yourself. Self-care. Pay attention to what's happening around you. I'm not saying you can, close your eyes and feel the breathe and, see the flowers and be happy. Please go ahead, be happy. But watch where you put your feet in the meantime. And I know we're all very strong. Sometimes we would like to give the keys to someone else. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of us don't have the choice. But sooner or later, you'll understand that this is your life and your life only. So you want to be in the driver's seat, or you want to be the one walking the street and deciding which direction you want to go. It's not about power, it's about taking your life in control. Because you know you can. So decide how much toxic you want to have in your life. You may enjoy a little bit, you may want to try, you may want to test the waters, but keep in mind this is toxic. Toxic may not kill you right away, but it is exhausting, and you're wasting your life capital, your life energy capital and your emotional capital and the strengths you have. Don't give them away, don't waste them. Some people are not worth you wasting that or anything on them. I know, not very Christian, right? But trust me, they would do exactly the same for you. So, this was my pep talk for today. Take care of yourself. Try to reduce toxic. Try to choose balanced, healthy, peaceful, more happiness, more mindfulness. Something with an outcome, with a brilliant outcome. No, I'm not on the drugs and I haven't taken anything. But we need to choose the brighter ones. And I know we can decide which ones they are. But these are your choices. Ultimately, everything is up to you. It's all your choice. So, I wish you all a great week. A non-toxic week, if you can. And thank you for listening. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.